Congratulations. God says, you will be very happy tonight because I am giving you that one thing. Congratulations. God says you will be very happy tonight because I am giving you that one thing. Open this message quickly before 11:57 p.m., but if you ignore this you'll miss it. My beloved child, don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you tonight. Right now, as you hear this, heaven is opening a door that has been locked for years, and God is whispering, I am giving you that one thing they thought you would never receive. Before 11:57 p.m., a moment is coming that will change your whole direction. Every second you stay, the truth gets clearer, and every second you skip, you move further away from what was meant to be yours. So don't skip. Don't even blink. Because what you're about to hear is the reason you were guided to this message. Tonight holds a kind of spiritual electricity around your name, more than you realize, more than you expected. As you read this, a quiet shift is forming in the unseen, and a whisper rises like a warm breeze in your spirit. Don't look away. This moment is meant for you. Right now, heaven leans in with purpose. God's voice carries a gentle urgency, not to frighten you, but to pull you into alignment with something rare, something long awaited, something you may have already felt stirring in your chest today. He says, my beloved child, stay. Not a second of this is ordinary. Stay with me. Something is moving toward you even as you read. A door that had remained locked for years, emotionally, spiritually, or financially, is now shifting open. You may not see the door with your eyes, but your spirit feels the vibration of it. That sudden mix of anticipation and quiet hope you felt earlier wasn't random. It was the first signal. God says that one thing they thought would never reach you, I am releasing it. For months, maybe even years, you carried a silent prayer. The kind you felt almost embarrassed to admit aloud. Something so close to your heart it felt fragile. Something you wondered if heaven forgot. Tonight, God speaks directly to it. Don't scroll. You're closer to this blessing than you've ever been. Heaven has been waiting for the exact moment when your heart, your circumstances, and your spirit finally aligned. That moment is now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now. Before 11:57 p.m., a shift will touch your day, your mind, or your emotions, confirming that what you've been waiting for has begun moving toward you with new force. God says, every second you remain here, the truth becomes clearer. You were pulled to this message for a reason, not by coincidence, not out of curiosity. You were guided here so you wouldn't miss the moment heaven is preparing. There is a blessing with your name spiritually carved into it, one that was delayed, blocked, and resisted by circumstances you didn't see. But this time God says, I am delivering it myself. Heaven doesn't send this kind of message unless a major shift is about to break open. You are not just reading, you are entering alignment. Your heart may feel a strange warmth now, a small flutter, a spark. That is heaven brushing against your spirit, confirming that this message is not just words, but an activation. God says that the prayer you buried under exhaustion, the hope you thought faded, the desire you whispered in the dark, He has said yes to it. This is why today felt different. Why something in you sensed movement. Why you didn't scroll past this message. Heaven is finally releasing what was held back. But God adds something deeper. Once-in-a-lifetime blessings require once-in-a-lifetime attention. You may notice 3 signs forming around you as this blessing approaches. 1. A sudden calm. Your mind quiets even if the day was chaotic. 2. Unexpected clarity. Things that confused you start making sense. 3. A rising expectation. A knowing that something good is on the way. These aren't emotions, they're spiritual indicators. God says, tonight is not an ordinary night. It is your restoration night. Everything that was taken, delayed, or misdirected is returning in a greater form. The blessings that slipped through cracks in the past are now being placed back into your hands with strength and certainty. Heaven is not just sending a gift. Heaven is correcting what was mishandled. Don't blink. You are standing at the doorway of your turning point. You may wonder why this blessing is coming now, of all nights. Why not before? Why not earlier, when you felt more confident or hopeful? God answers softly, because now you are ready, and now nothing can steal it from you. Everything you endured, every delay, every moment of confusion, every setback, was preparing your spirit for a blessing that carries weight and longevity. This is not a temporary moment. This is a shift that changes the next chapter of your story. Tonight, God is opening the path and clearing the air around your spirit. He says, the blessing they said you'd never see, I am placing it into your life before the clock reaches 11:57 p.m. Your heart can feel this truth. Your spirit recognizes it. The timing is intentional, divine, and irreversible. Stay with me. Next part reveals why heaven chose tonight to release what was once withheld from you. God's presence draws closer now, as if the air itself is shifting around you. There is a reason tonight carries so much divine intensity, and heaven wants you to understand it clearly. Before your blessing reaches you, you must know why it was saved for this specific night. Why not last month, last year, or during the moments when you cried for it most? Heaven waited because your heart wasn't ready, your environment wasn't settled, and the people around you weren't aligned. There were energies, intentions, and situations that would have mishandled the gift. God needed the timing to be perfect, so nothing and no one could interfere with what He has prepared for you. You may not realize it, but lately your spirit has grown stronger, quieter, sharper. You see situations more clearly, you sense people more deeply, and you have begun recognizing who supports your rise and who drains your soul. That clarity was necessary. Without it, the blessing would not have survived in the places you once stood. Tonight is different because you are different, God whispers. Your spirit has matured into someone who can hold the blessing without losing yourself. The strength you built in silence, the patience you developed through disappointment, the resilience you gathered through pain. These have formed the foundation that this blessing will rest upon. You didn't break. You transformed. And now heaven is moving with intention. As the blessing comes closer, certain signs will begin unfolding around you. You may notice that your mind is suddenly quieter than usual. Thoughts that once spiraled endlessly now feel distant, powerless. That's not random. That's heaven removing the emotional noise that blocked your intuition. Then clarity begins to settle in small ways. A decision that felt tangled suddenly feels obvious. A person who confused you suddenly becomes easy to read. A situation that once drained you begins revealing its purpose. This clarity is heaven preparing your path, clearing it from misunderstandings and hidden intentions. God says, "You are walking into a night where the invisible becomes visible." Your spirit may feel as if it's leaning forward, sensing something coming before your mind catches up. That is because the blessing is already in motion. Heaven has already released it. You're not waiting for it. It's making its way toward you now. And as it approaches, heaven begins rearranging your surroundings. Someone who usually distracts you may suddenly go silent. Someone whose intentions were unclear may reveal themselves through their actions. Someone who didn't value you may feel distance grow between you and them, without argument, without chaos, just quiet separation. This is protection, not coincidence. God is ensuring that the blessing enters an environment where it can grow, not be drained. Tonight you may even feel a sense of emotional lightness, even if your day wasn't perfect. A strange but comforting feeling that something good is forming behind the scenes. That sensation is spiritual alignment. Your heart is responding to heaven's movement, even before your eyes can see the result. And here comes the truth you need to understand. The blessing you are about to receive was not denied to you before. It was preserved. It was being held in a sacred place, away from chaos, away from people who did not have your best interest at heart, away from situations that could have weakened it. God says, "The blessing survived, because I protected it, until you became strong enough to receive it." This is why tonight matters. Heaven has determined that the obstacles that once resisted your blessing no longer have any authority. The delays that once frustrated you no longer hold power. The spiritual resistance that once drained you has already broken. Now the path is clear. Tonight's alignment is rare, like the universe inhaling, waiting to exhale something meant only for you, and that is why you feel this pull, this warmth, this odd sense of certainty rising inside you. You're not imagining it. You're feeling destiny rearranging itself. Heaven says, stay open, stay present. Something meant for you is finally making its way into your life. The blessing that once lingered at the edge of your reach is now stepping directly into the center of your story. Stay close, because the next words will reveal how this blessing will show up in your life, and the unmistakable signs that prove it has already begun unfolding. What approaches your life now is not a small shift. It is a layered blessing, one that unfolds in multiple forms and touches different areas of your spirit. Heaven does not send change this powerful all at once. It arrives in waves, each carrying its own purpose, each lifting a different part of you that has been weary, waiting or wounded for far too long. The first wave of this blessing comes as protection, not the kind you see, but the kind you feel. A shield has been forming around your life, strengthening itself the moment you opened your heart to this message. Go. D has been blocking what was never meant for you. Conversations meant to discourage you. Opportunities that would have drained you, and people who wore friendly faces while carrying dim intentions. Without making a sound, heaven has been removing what could have delayed your rise. You may notice that certain connections feel distant, quieter, or irrelevant. This is not rejection, it is spiritual safeguarding. Once protection settles, the second wave begins. Elevation. This is where movement will suddenly enter areas that have been still for too long. Plans that once felt impossible will begin aligning. Opportunities that slipped through your fingers in the past will return in new, stronger forms. God is lifting you out of cycles that kept repeating and pulling you into spaces where your growth becomes effortless. You will feel an inner shift, like your spirit finally stepping onto a path it recognizes. Elevation always follows protection, because God will never lift you into a place your spirit is not safe to occupy. Then comes the third wave, the most profound of them all, revelation. This is when the truth begins to show itself gently but unmistakably. You will start understanding why certain delays happened, why specific people drifted away, why your spirit felt restless these past weeks. Clarity will rise like sunlight after a long storm, illuminating every corner that once felt confusing or dark. God is not just giving you blessing, He is giving you insight, wisdom, and vision. Revelation is the gift that ensures you never return to the places that once drained you. These three waves, protection, elevation, revelation, are not separate. Together they form the blessing that has been trying to reach you for a long time. But it could not arrive earlier because it required this version of you, stronger, clearer, wiser, and finally ready to receive without breaking under the weight of what comes with it. You will also notice emotional signals as this blessing draws near. Your spirit may feel strangely calm, even in the middle of uncertainty. That calm is not emptiness, it is preparation. Heaven quiets your fears before sending your breakthrough. Your heart is being positioned to recognize what is for you without hesitation. Then a spark of joy may appear, small at first but undeniable. A warm pulse of expectation, a sense of something unfolding in your favor. This joy is not random, it is the echo of the blessing moving closer. After that joy, a deeper shift will begin. Thoughts that once overwhelmed you will loosen their grip. A lightness will emerge, as if something heavy inside you has started to dissolve. This is heaven softening the ground where your blessing will land, so it settles without disruption. And soon there will come a moment, a quiet inner knowing, that feels like your spirit whispering, something is about to change. This moment is the bridge between your waiting season and your receiving season. Pay attention to it, because it signals the nearness of the breakthrough you've long prayed for. God has been guiding you gently toward this moment for longer than you realize. Every tear you held back, every night you whispered, "God, I'm trying," every time you kept moving despite feeling stuck, none of it went unnoticed. These moments became spiritual keys, unlocking doors that had been closed. Now those doors are opening, not slowly but decisively. Heaven is preparing to send you a blessing that will touch three major areas: your peace, your clarity, and your direction. When it arrives, you will feel an inner realignment so strong that even old fears won't be able to pull you backward. What comes next will reveal how this blessing reshapes your inner world, your emotions, your thoughts, your sense of purpose, and how you will recognize the moment it officially enters your life. As the blessing moves nearer, heaven shifts into a different posture, no longer preparing you, but positioning you. This stage is delicate, powerful, and essential. What you receive in the coming days will need care, awareness, and spiritual steadiness. Not because the blessing is fragile, but because your life is about to expand, and expansion always requires intention. God begins by guiding you inward. Before the blessing arrives in the physical world, it first takes root inside your spirit. This is why you may start feeling a sense of emotional uncluttering. Old attachments may feel distant. Past disappointments may lose their sting. Thoughts that once consumed you may suddenly feel irrelevant. This inner clearing is the preparation for something greater. God is removing the noise so you don't misinterpret the blessing when it shows up. The first instruction heaven places in your spirit during this stage is to remain aware, not anxious, not fearful, aware. Awareness means noticing when something doesn't feel aligned, listening to the soft nudge inside your chest, respecting the shift in your spirit, even when your mind doesn't fully understand it yet. You are entering a season where intuition becomes one of your strongest tools. What you feel will often reveal more truth than what you see. Heaven is heightening your sensitivity, so you can recognize what belongs to you and what is merely a distraction dressed as opportunity. Then God gives the second instruction: guard your peace with intention. Peace is not passive, it is a spiritual force, a shield, a covering. Your peace carries the energy of your blessing. If it is disrupted, weakened, or ignored, the blessing may not flourish the way it is meant to. This is why God has been gently removing certain people, habits, and emotional patterns from your life. Some of them were small drains, barely noticeable, but they pulled at your spirit consistently. Others were loud, taking too much space in your heart and not giving anything back. Heaven is ensuring that your blessing enters a quiet, protected environment inside you, one that is not cluttered with fear, confusion, or old pain. The third instruction heaven gives you in this stage is to move with the blessing, not against it. When doors open, walk through them. When clarity arrives, trust it. When an opportunity presents itself, don't underestimate it. God is preparing momentum around you. What once felt slow will begin accelerating, delays will lift, and what seemed stuck will start shifting unexpectedly. This is not chaos, this is alignment. Heaven is matching your faith with movement. And when the blessing lands, it may come with decisions you need to make boldly, not impulsively, but boldly. Fear may try to whisper reasons to wait, reasons to doubt, reasons to stay small. But heaven whispers louder, I did not bring you this far for you to retreat. You may also notice subtle tests around this time, not to punish you, but to strengthen your discernment. A familiar distraction may reappear, hoping to pull you back into old cycles. A person who once drained you may come with sweet words or sentimental excuses. A situation that once created anxiety may try to resurface. These moments are not coincidences, they are spiritual echoes, trying to confirm whether you are truly ready to hold what is coming. God is not asking for perfection, He is asking for intention. Every choice you make in the coming days helps anchor the blessing more firmly into your life. You don't need to force anything. You don't need to chase anything. Stay aligned, stay grounded, and stay open. The blessing is already on its way. There will come a moment, perhaps quietly, perhaps suddenly, when everything inside you shifts. A realization, a clarity, a calm, a sign. You will feel an internal yes. A knowing that the blessing is no longer moving toward you. It has arrived. When that moment comes, do not question it. Do not shrink from it. Receive it with the confidence of someone who has survived enough to know they deserve what heaven is giving them. You are stepping into a chapter where your spirit will finally feel supported, your steps will feel guided, and your heart will feel protected. What comes next will reveal how this blessing transforms your direction, your relationships, and the very path you walk, bringing you into the life heaven always intended for you. God's presence softens now, but the power of it does not lessen. Instead, it becomes warmer, steadier, more enveloping, like a mantle being placed over your shoulders. You have walked through preparation, alignment, cleansing, and positioning. Now heaven stands before you with a message meant to seal everything that has been unfolding over these pages. What approaches your life now is not temporary. It is not fragile. It is not something that can be easily taken from you or shaken loose by circumstances. What comes next is a solid shift, something spiritually anchored, divinely timed, and protected by God's own hand. This isn't the kind of blessing that fades. This is the kind that redefines the landscape of your life. God begins by revealing something you may not have fully understood. The delay you experienced wasn't punishment. It wasn't neglect. It wasn't silence. It was protection. The blessing wasn't late. It was preserved. God hid it in a place where no interference, no jealousy, no confusion, and no wrong environment could touch it. Now it is being released because you, the version of you standing here today, are strong enough, wise enough, and spiritually grounded enough to handle it. There is a deep truth that heaven wants you to hold close. You are never forgotten. Every moment you felt alone, heaven was watching. Every moment you struggled, heaven was working. Every time you whispered, "I don't know how much more I can take," God whispered back, "Hold on a little longer. I'm building something for you." You survived seasons that could have hardened your heart, but instead, they sharpened your intuition. You endured storms that could have broken you, but instead they deepened your spiritual strength. You faced people who underestimated you, doubted you, or misread your spirit, but none of them could stop what God reserved for your life. The blessing coming your way is not just an answer, it is compensation, restoration, recovery, a return of what was lost, plus what was meant to be yours all along. God brings increase, not replacement. He brings overflowing portions where you once experienced scarcity. And He brings peace where chaos once dominated. Soon, you will feel a quiet shift inside you. A sense that things are beginning to click into place. Your emotions will stabilize. Your mind will feel clearer. Your spirit will feel lighter. This isn't wishful thinking. This is the early evidence of spiritual delivery. You are entering a chapter where clarity returns in full color, where confusion lifts, where opportunities show up without you forcing them, where conversations align in your favor, where people who resonate with your purpose find their way into your life naturally, without struggle. And just as importantly, this is a chapter where you finally begin releasing the weight of what you've carried for far too long. The guilt that wasn't yours, the expectations that drained you, the disappointments that shaped how you saw yourself. Heaven is dissolving them gently, making space for renewal. God says, "You will not walk into this blessing carrying yesterday's heaviness. I'm lifting it off you now." There may be a moment, quiet but unmistakable, when your spirit suddenly feels free, as if something unexplainable has been removed from your shoulders. This moment is holy. It is heaven's confirmation that the blessing is not just near, it is arriving. What comes into your life next will do more than shift your circumstances. It will revive your hope, restore your inner power, and remind you of who you were always meant to be. You will feel supported from within and guided from above. And for the first time in a long time, your spirit will feel safe enough to dream again. God's final message is simple but profound. You have stepped into a divine turning point. Nothing ahead of you will look like what is behind you. I am rewriting your path in real time. Trust the unfolding. Trust the timing. Trust the stillness inside your heart that knows something sacred is happening. Your life is on the edge of transformation, and heaven has already begun opening the next chapter for you, one filled with clarity, renewal, and blessings strong enough to sustain the rest of your journey.